Welcome to Belly Strong, where today we'll be discussing how to get through that first postpartum poo. And a lot of what we're going to discuss is also relevant for any kind of constipation or just general pooping technique. Now, immediately after delivery, we're often not in the best shape. Everything is sore, you may have some cuts, tears, and stitches down there, and even thinking about a bowel movement can be painful. There are a number of things we can do to make things easier. The first of which is positioning. Using a squatty potty or some form of step to lift the knees up can be really useful for relaxing the pelvic floor. So we want to get into this sort of position where the knees are a bit higher than the hips, elbows down, and this position helps to relax the pelvic floor muscles. And if we want things to come out of the back end, we really do need those muscles to be relaxed. Then we do some simple breaths here, where we breathe in through the nose, just letting that belly relax, and we exhale through the mouth. In and out. And this breathing, this relaxed breathing, you're not forcing anything, is also going to relax those pelvic floor muscles. And out. Nice and simple to do. After this, we want to be able to push things out. And something that can be really useful is what we call the bulge and brace. And I'll turn forward to show you. But what you're going to do is place your hands on your belly. Inhale. As you inhale, you're pushing that belly out into those hands. And as you exhale, we're still pushing that belly out. Let's do that again. Inhale, belly out. And as you exhale, keep that belly pushing out. What we want to avoid doing is pushing and everything contracting. And now if you add that to the mechanics of being on the toilet, we're inhaling, belly out. As you exhale, you're bulging, bracing, and you're pushing to get that poo out, basically. One more time, because it is a lot to think about. We inhale, bulge. As we exhale, brace, keep pushing out as you push to get that poo out. And throughout this, we also want to keep breathing. We want to avoid holding our breath and straining, because that can also reflexively contract the pelvic floor muscles, which is something we don't want, and it can cause additional pressure on the pelvic floor, which is also something we don't want immediately after delivery when everything is still very sore and tender. Something that can also help is using a wet wipe squirted with a bit of witch hazel to apply pressure to the vagina and the perineum while you try to push that poo out. So you'd hold it over the vagina and over the tissue between the vagina and the anus, the perineal area. Add a bit of upward pressure to provide support to that area while you bulge, brace, and push. The coolness of the witch hazel can also help a lot with pain while you're on the toilet. So position, bulge and brace, and a bit of external pressure can help make sure that first postpartum poo is not too scary. It's also important to say that if it's just not happening, don't try to force it, just come back to it later. Sometimes using something like a stool softener can be helpful, but it's not the first thing I'd jump to. I'd first look at fluid intake, making sure you're drinking enough water and consuming enough fruit and veg so that the poo isn't too hard. And sometimes a glycerol suppository can be really helpful in stimulating a bowel movement. You just pop it up there and usually within 30 minutes you're ready to go. At times, just a warm glass of water with some lemon and a bit of stretching and movement can be all you need to get things going. I know the first poo can be daunting, but you will get there, and these tips can help to make sure you don't overload the pelvic floor. When you're a few more weeks on, something else that can be really helpful is a pelvic floor assessment by a pelvic physiotherapist. This is something that I think should be standard for all women who've given birth, as it can really help to prevent future issues if you get to things early. They'll have a look at everything, make sure you're healing well, the muscles are working well, and be able to give you specific advice based on what they think you need. Thanks for watching, and if you didn't know already, you can find a postpartum recovery plan, workouts, and advice videos on the Belly Strong channel, and more about pelvic physiotherapy on the Belly Strong website.